I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. Thanks for joining us for the Maple Grove Report virtually, joined by Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator from her office. Welcome, Heidi. How are you today?
Thank you. Doing well.
Thanks for joining us. We have a meeting from the 18th of May to talk about. It was about a 2-hour meeting. One topic held most of the time in the meeting. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but there were a few items before that. We begin with under special business, an update which has been happening on a regular basis, Heidi, from Tim Bush about COVID-19. Give us a recap of what he had to say at the meeting on the 18th.
Yeah, so Chief Bush just provided an update to the council just about kind of where we're at in Maple Grove, and of course the state of Minnesota with regard to COVID-19 and the governor's orders. As we tape this, the governor's holding a press conference kind of as the new round of orders that'll come out today, and probably focused on bars and restaurants and a little bit more other businesses, salons, those kinds of things. So we always await that information because we know how it impacts our businesses, and we have to be able to respond to anything that they need surrounding those changes. So a couple of changes here at the Government Center, where we're working hard to get a plan together to reopen some of the services here at the Government Center. As you recall, we shuttered our passport office. That's really kind of one of the services that requires kind of a face-to-face interaction between staff and the customer. And so we're working on a plan to get that reopened. And we're also, preparing for the election season. So we'll head back into the primary absentee voting season here at the end of June. And so we've got to have a plan for that. And then reopening some of our services at the Government Center. So we're going to be deploying some of the things that you've seen in some of the retail settings with plexiglass, those kinds of things to protect our staff. Keeping a lot of our staff continuing to work remotely, just to keep kind of the head count down at the Government Center and make sure that our staff can stay spaced apart. So yeah, it's kind of an ever-evolving situation. Over the last couple of weeks, since more retailers were allowed to be open, we've worked with them on kind of what their occupancies are and bringing those down to that 50% level. And so we're really, appreciative of the calls and outreach we've received from our business community, and tried to respond as quickly as we can to make sure that, we're helping them out as they move through these changes. So more to come today and in the coming weeks, and we'll just keep monitoring and changing as the orders do.
The city has helped with a loan program as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the council meeting as it was brought up. One other note at this point is about masks and the transit service. Just tell us what people need to know that are riding the city buses.
Yeah, so we have a dramatically reduced bus schedule today. We're running about 12 routes a day downtown. We do still have kind of a consistent number of riders every day that are using the buses. So Metro Transit came out with a policy regarding requiring masks on the bus, and we have a relationship with Metro Transit for our transit services, so that policy kind of flows through to us. And it is a difficult situation in that it's enclosed and it's small space, and so probably best guidance there to do that. So that is a change that came down. I think that policy was implemented last Monday. So
very good. We'll have a few other notes about COVID-19 throughout the meeting. Recap here from the 18th. Next item was a city staff retirement recognition. A very nice moment for someone that's been with the city for a long time. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Officer Dave Anton has served the city for 33 years. Yeah. So that's really remarkable. You've probably recognized Dave around town. He has been on day shift for a while here, so if you're around during the day, you probably noticed him out in his squad. But he began his career here in 1987 as a community service officer, and then was promoted to a police officer in 1990. He's held various positions to include field training officer, investigator, school resource officer over at Maple Grove Junior High, emergency response unit member, and then also did some bike patrol during his time. So he was involved with a number of high profile and complex cases during his time as an investigator, and received over 20 letters or documents of appreciation for his quality work on the department. And then in 2019, he was awarded the Department Medal of Honor for his actions regarding a critical incident that occurred in 2017. So I think Dave is a kind of one of those patrol officers that you always want to have on your department. Yeah. As a great servant for the city, and will be greatly missed. here at Maple Grove. So we wish him all the best in his next chapter, but certainly we'll miss him on the schedule. So congrats to Dave.
Yes, thank you to Dave for all of his service. The next item was the long item of the council meeting. Again, the meeting itself was about 2 hours long, and this particular topic took 1 hour and 20 minutes of that. That was under community development, and it is Territorial Greens. And I think, Heidi, it might be best to start with a little history lesson for people. This has been around for a while. Give us a little bit of the backstory and then take us up to what was discussed at the council meeting.
Yeah, so I think just in general, this area north of County Road 81, east of Fernbrook along Territorial has seen a lot of development activity in recent years, and this is guided in our comp plan for this type of medium or high density type development, and then during this near time frame here. So what we're seeing here is in accordance with the comp plan. And so there's been a number of projects that have been constructed or are under construction up there, adding a number of housing units to that area. I think one of the concerns all along has been sort of the lack of transportation improvements along the Fernbrook corridor, and County Road 81. The eventual plan, or the long-term plan, is that Maple Grove Parkway would extend kind of straight and off to the north and to the east and connect up with Fernbrook. And so that current connection of Fernbrook to County Road 81 would in essence kind of go away, and it would come down and connect with Maple Grove Parkway, which would provide you access to both the 94 and 610 corridors. So that is not a small project. It involves participation from Hennepin County, leadership from Hennepin County, as well as there's a lot of development taking place up in Dayton, up Fernbrook, that is really driving a lot of the traffic concerns in this area. So, as these developments have come along, there's been discussion about the transportation improvements that would be needed. With this development, we've talked about putting in some interim improvements in terms of turn lanes along Fernbrook. But I think, we've gotten a lot of feedback from that neighborhood, and I think we want to take one more run at the county to talk about the potential for an interim signal, potentially an acceleration lane on 81 for that easterly exit of Territorial there. So a little bit more work to do with the county, but so this one got tabled to June 15th to give us a little bit more time. We have till July 28th on this application to take action. So we do want to get it right here. And so we're going to go back to the county and see what we can get done. But all in, this project is for, there would be 73 townhomes on the east side. So there's kind of that road that accesses between Territorial and up to 81 on the east side. There would be 73 townhomes there. And then on the west side of that, about a 208 unit apartment building and 13 villa units. So it's a significant add of units up there. And so I think taking this time to go back to the county and talk about our transportation concerns is warranted. So this one will come back on June 15th.
And part of the reason it took an hour and 20 minutes to discuss is there were quite a few people representing the development that had a chance to talk, but also residents chimed in and talked. And in your virtual world, that can still happen, correct?
It can still happen. And surprisingly, it's working pretty well. We were a little bit nervous about that, how that was going to work out. But we have a call-in feature on our council meetings for remote folks who want to call in. And so we did have, we had 3 or 4 callers from the neighborhood. And then, yes, there was, the developer had their engineering team along and legal counsel, and they all had an opportunity to provide input as well.
All right, we will keep you up to date as that does come back to the council in June. Now we'll get to staff reports at the end of the meeting on the 18th. Updates from community development. We mentioned a little earlier about the loan program for businesses. Heidi, give us a little recap of how that went. I understand the response was strong.
The response was strong, and we anticipated that. So we did an online application process, and it actually worked out really, really well. So we had about 20 applications within the first hour, and then by day 2, we had received 35 applications. And the EDA had designated about $250,000 in funding for this program. So, right about 20 to 23 loans we could have done considering underwriting costs. And so we kind of took the application down once we got to about 35 applications, given that we were well oversubscribed for the money. So a good mix of, retail, restaurant, some service industry businesses that have been really impacted by this pandemic situation and the closures and the governor's order. And so we're working through that process of underwriting right now. We're trying to move as quickly as we can. As we know, businesses, retail was, a lot of the retail was authorized to reopen at 50% capacity on this past Monday. We know there's more coming here today with regard to restaurants and some of the service industries with salons and those kinds of things. And so wanting to get the money out the door in support of those businesses as they reopen. So we're looking to do that here in the next couple of weeks. But yes, congrats to, our economic development staff, Brett Angel and Joe Hogaboom really led this effort, but also to our business community. They were just prepared, when
Right.
the application process opened. We had given them kind of a heads up, like, here's what we're looking for information in your application. Please prepare that. And because it is a first come, first serve basis. And so we were really impressed with, the applications came in and they were generally pretty complete, and we had a few follow-ups to do, but it all went off without a hitch. So more to come on that one. We'll get those awards out here in the coming weeks, and probably have some discussion with the EDA over, depending on our underwriting basis, if we have folks that are qualified but we don't have any money, some consideration of, do we add more money or not, and that kind of a thing. So more to come on that, but really happy to be able to be assisting our small businesses in Maple Grove in that way.
Very good. Next update item from community development along the same line with COVID-19, talking a little bit about summer season outdoor space adjustments. A long way to summarize what businesses are looking for options. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think businesses are going to have to get creative in terms of, if we can only have so many, based on our occupancy folks, so many folks in our space this way, or, wanting to expand those outdoor spaces. And so we're preparing to respond to those needs. We want to make sure that we're addressing parking and traffic circulation and handicap parking, all those kinds of things. And certainly for our restaurants with the service of alcohol, we sort of define that premise in terms of where alcohol can be served. And so we will be prepared to respond as quickly as we can. We want to support business and get them back open. But we'll have to have some conversations about that based on, what each business's plans are.
Right. Another summertime favorite to talk about is Choc Fest, and I understand some discussions about what to do with Choc Fest. What is the latest there?
Yeah, so Choc Fest would have been kind of the first, like around June, early June, June 8th, 9th, something like that. They're looking to move that to August 29th and 30th, so last weekend in August, and they're actually thinking about moving the venue a little bit up to Arbor Lakes Parkway, kind of between where Three Squares and Claddagh is there to the east, to kind of where that townhome entrance is as you head towards Hemlock. I think it's a little bit wider. You've got a double, two sides of the road there that we can space things out a little bit more. Still proximal to the downtown business community, so people can, hopefully go, whatever that looks like coming out of August in terms of shopping or eating or having some. So trying to work with them to make sure that works in that space. So we'll be reviewing that with our special event review committee, and but look for more information about Choc Fest coming the end of August.
Very good. One final note is the Planning Commission meeting that was scheduled upcoming here in May is canceled, but they'll get back at it in June. Now to Public Works and Engineering, the city drop-off day. Talk about another success here recently of the city. Tell us about the turnout for that special day.
Yeah, so that was Saturday, May 16th was drop-off day. We did postpone the pickup day because there's just a lot more interaction that occurs with that, but did the drop-off day. We had a big uptick in recycling materials, kind of, I think Ken mentioned, 3 times as much as normal. We took in 199 tires, a lot of scrap iron grills, those kinds of things. So it was a busy day, but I think, folks have had time at their homes to clean up the garages, all those kinds of things. And so it's good for the community to get all those things cleaned up and out the door.
Final note that Ken made was about transportation grants. We have talked about the process to get applications in. Give us that update that it looks like things keep moving ahead.
Yeah, so we keep pushing on every front that we have here. We resubmitted the 610 completion project to the feds under, it's a program called Build. And so we're waiting, that application went in last week. And so we'll await those awards. Usually is a few months before those awards come out. And this is our second time through that process. So it's a good process in that once you submit and maybe you're not awarded, the Federal Department of Transportation provides a review and they tell you how you could strengthen your application or where maybe you were weak. And so we took that feedback and went back to the consultants that prepared the application and tweaked it and fine-tuned it. And so we're hopeful going into this year. And then they did submit for the regional solicitation. This is federal funds that flow down through Met Council,
right,
for the 169 Elm Creek Bridge, or Elm Creek Boulevard Bridge. So that kind of on our far southeast side there. So that's an interchange that's longing for improvement down there. So we're just kind of getting that started in the process. Sometimes it takes a couple times through these application processes to get awarded. And again, like with the regional solicitation, those funds, really are out to like 2024 or 2025 when those funds become available. So you have some time to assemble all the rest of the funding that's out there. But we keep pushing on every, funding possibility that's out there for these projects that are really important to Maple Grove.
And speaking of funding, your recap was a little bit about the legislative session and some thoughts there about bonding. Give us a little recap of what you saw at the end of the regular session and what might be coming.
Yeah, so the regular session came to a close this past Sunday evening, the 17th of May, I guess, at midnight, and bonding didn't get done. I think there was just a lot of focus on the COVID response, and so, but I do think good things happened with regard to Maple Grove and our bonding projects. We are sitting in the House bill for both the 610 completion project as well as the North Metro Range expansion project. In the Senate side, the 610 completion project is in that bill on the Senate side. So that's great to be positioned that way going into what likely will be a special session on June 12th. We've heard from our legislators that bonding will be a big priority of the special session in terms of, not only seeing it as an economic stimulus project, but Minnesota, we have a AAA bond rating in Minnesota. We've been hit by this, by the COVID economically at a state level, but Minnesota still, remains strong. And so I think they see the opportunity for bonding is real, and it'll be a priority in the special session. So we'll keep in touch with them and keep working here on that through June and see what happens when they come back in June. But we really appreciate the support of Senator Limmer and Representative Bonner and Representative Robbins and working on behalf of Maple Grove during the regular session this year.
Your final couple notes at the meeting were about the passport office, which we talked about earlier, but also elections. And let's just mention that again from a date standpoint. Already June 26th, is that correct, when people can start to vote?
Yeah, so June 26th starts absentee voting for the primary, which is August 11th. But one thing this has always been available, but we want to just really stress that, you can request a mail-in ballot during the absentee or during regular process as well. And so, that's a great opportunity for folks who may not be comfortable coming in to vote, or, just ease up on the number of trips you need to make during this time. And so we really do encourage people to make that application for a mail-in ballot if they can. We're going to be putting out more information about that and how to do that in the coming weeks here, and our social media and website, those kinds of things, newsletters. So just pay attention for that. And if that's something that you can do, we really appreciate you looking into that mail-in ballot process.
So that wraps up the meeting from the 18th. Again, about 2 hours long. Gives you an idea of what happened at the last council meeting. The next meeting is coming up on June 1st. We'll tell you more about that in a few minutes. Let's cover some other items, Heidi, happening around the city. And the first is we've got a holiday coming up, and you just want to let residents know about the city offices services in their little bit of temporary mode. What's going to happen?
Yeah, so city offices will be closed Monday, May 25th in honor of the Memorial Day holiday. Kind of hard to believe we're at Memorial Day already.
Right.
Yes.
And
beginning of summer, as it were.
A few staffing notes we want to pass along as well. Firefighter recruitment time once again. Give us a quick overview of some of the parameters with firefighter recruitment.
Yeah, so we're out right now recruiting for paid on-call firefighters. This is the application period will be open through July 12th. And I think it's really important to understand that we're just, we're really looking for folks who are interested in serving their community. You do not have to, we're not hiring trained firefighters. We're hiring people who are interested in serving.
Yeah.
And then we provide all the training. So you come as you are, and you all of the things that you need in terms of equipment and training and preparation, those are things that are all provided by the department. So kind of a different approach. I think sometimes when people think they're hiring firefighters that, I need to be one. And so no, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
We provide all of that training for you. So we do have some recruitment information, recruitment meetings that are going to be taking place. And now that I think about that, I don't know, I wonder, I think these probably will be done virtually, but there's some dates coming up.
Okay.
Sunday, May 31, Monday, June 8th, Tuesday, June 6th, 16th, Wednesday, June 24th, and then Thursday, July 2nd. So I think just check back to the website and see how those meetings are going to be held. They're probably waiting a little bit on some guidance here in the coming weeks before they make a final decision about that. But we do offer those meetings. We encourage people to bring their spouse, bring family members to kind of, again, if we're doing this virtually, it'll be different, but just to kind of hear the discussion and get any questions answered about what it's like to be a firefighter and what kind of how it works with your family. So more information to come about that, and then check out the website for how those meetings are going to be held.
Very good. Yeah, maplegrovemn.gov, the website to find out more information about that. And also this next item, you have a job opening in the Human Resources Department. Give us that information.
Yeah, so we're going to have a retirement coming up. Joyce Edmeyer has been with the city for 20 years. And so she's going to be retiring here in June, long-serving city employee. We've remarked that in the last probably 2 years, we have turned over, it'll be almost 80 years of experience in our Human Resources Department. Wow. With our director retiring almost 2 years ago. And then our other human resource specialist retired, and now Joyce is retiring. So we kind of have a new team in our HR department. So we're recruiting for that human resources specialist recruitment in the area of recruitment and retention. Applications are accepted through 4:30 p.m. on Monday, May 25th. And that's all available on our website about how to apply.
Very good. Another way to serve the city is through some of the commissions, and you have an opening on the park board. Give us some of the details about being a member of the park board.
Yeah, so application materials can be downloaded from the city website. They're accepted through Friday, June 5th, and then this appointment would run through the end of December in 2022. So the park board here in Maple Grove plays a really important role. They are responsible for the acquisition, development, and maintenance of all city parks and trails. They're also responsible for the operations of the community center and rec programs that are provided to our residents. They act in an advisory capacity of the city council. And then they also, their operating program for the community center and for park development and rec programs is done rather independently. So the city council approves their budget, and then they kind of run the program. So a little bit of a hybrid model here in Maple Grove with the park board. So it's a pretty important role. Regular meetings are held the third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. So if you're interested in that, take a look on the website application.
Very good. Fun opportunity for residents to get involved in the city and maybe to get your photograph put in some publications. Give us the information about the photo contest, which is coming up soon.
Yeah, so our annual Maple Grove Moments photo contest starts on June 1st. Residents are invited to submit their photos through noon on July 14th, and that's done online. We have a portal on our city website where photos can be submitted electronically. And I think in recent years, with this new electronic process, we've received over 400 entries into our photo contest. So it's really helped and made it easier for everybody to access it. So everyone's invited to view all the photos submitted online, and they vote for their favorite. Once we get them all in, then we do, people can go on and look and vote for their favorite. And then the winning entries receive cash prizes and recognition via the city newsletter and social media. And then we do use all those photos in our various publications. And so you get a chance to see your photography out there, whether it be in the newsletter, on the website, any of those social media, those things. And then we do also put them on display here at the government center. So it's kind of a fun way to get involved.
And I suppose people could take a picture of this next item, but it might not be the favorite for people to judge. That's I-94 construction. It's visual, but maybe not the best photo. Tell us a little bit about the construction. What are people seeing right now and what is coming in the next few weeks and months?
Yeah, so they have made the long-term lane shifts out on 94 between Maple Grove and Rogers. And so motorists on eastbound 94 that plan to exit in Maple Grove need to plan ahead and make sure they're in the correct lane.
Yeah.
Almost right by Rogers. And I even knew this was coming. And the first time I drove it, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to choose right now. So I think it comes up a little quick and, you're thinking you have more time between Rogers and Maple Grove, but it does happen pretty quick out there. And then eastbound lanes between Highway 101 and then the 94, 494, 694 interchange in Maple Grove are separated. So just got to really be paying attention to the signs out there as you make your way through Maple Grove and getting it. If you're going to get off in Maple Grove, you got to get into a certain lane. And then if you're continuing through, that's a certain set of lanes. So slow down, take your time, make sure you're looking at the signs, keep your speeds down out there. We got people working out there and I know they're doing a lot of patrol to make sure people are adhering to the speed. And I think just with the movements and the newness of how the lanes are configured, we just want to make sure people are taking their time and being safe out there.
Very good advice. I want to recap Police Week and the Peace Officers Memorial Day. We talked about this the last time we were together as a preview. Give us a little recap. How did things go?
Yeah, so the National Police Week with May 15th was designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day to pay respect and homage to those officers who've given their lives in the line of duty. So this year, we were honored to have people, light up their porch light with blue, and then we had the town green lit up with blue. And so I know they did have kind of a limited service, I think, down in St. Paul that was broadcast, but I think much of it was kind of done remotely. But they did have some things going on down in St. Paul in honor of the Peace Officers Memorial Day. So a nice recognition for our officers.
Very good. Last couple minutes that we have together here with you, we want to talk about a few things coming up. One is Farmers Market. What is the latest with the market?
Yeah, so they're calling it the outdoor grocery store.
Good, I like it.
So we're back into the every Thursday schedule, and we'll be there now through October 22nd. Underway 3 to 7 p.m. in the afternoons out at the Maple Grove Community Center parking lot. So a lot of changes to the format. So there's some controls about how you enter the market, leave the market, how many people can be in the space at one time, how the vendors are dealing with customers, that kind of a thing. So just know as you come, if you haven't been there in this new world that we're in, things feel and act a little bit differently, but a lot of the same vendors that you've loved for every year of the farmers market are back. And it's just a really great option to go get, fresh produce, meat, all the things that you love to get at the farmers market are there for you. So every Thursday, 3 to 7 p.m.
Great. Parks and Rec Summer Activity Guide, a little change to this year, not only in how it's delivered, but also in some of the programs. Give us that quick overview.
Yeah, so the activity guide is going online for this summer. I think, knowing that it was hard to kind of predict where we were going to be and what kind of programming could really be offered. So in order to remain nimble to that and kind of change things on the fly as we needed to, we're just going with the online production of the program this year, the activity guide. So check online for that. We'll do lots of promotion about that. And then, limited, of course, a scaled back number of programs, but they are getting pretty creative, trying to do some programs that can be done with distancing, those kinds of things. And so you want to make sure you take a look at that guide.
Very good. And a couple other final items here, talking about a blood drive coming up. There's a couple, Friday, May 29th, Wednesday, June 3rd. Those are at the community center. You can go to the city's website to find out more. Also, a story walk is happening. So go to, again, the city's website to find out where that might be. And final note, the census is underway. And so you're just asking people, keep an eye out for the census information.
Yep.
Very good.
Keep thing in the mail.
All right, we made it here within a half hour. Again, that is a recap of the meeting from the 18th. Next meeting is coming up on June 1st. Any information about the city, maplegrovemn.gov, and you see the city's website and phone number as well for more information. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.